You are listening to How to Get Over Your Ex, episode number 172. Everything's going to be okay. Welcome to How to Get Over Your Ex, a podcast on getting over your ex without it just taking time. I'm your host, Breakup Coach Dorothy. Let's turn your pain into power and your heartbreak into happy. Hello, my beautiful Bravehearts. How is everyone doing? I miss you guys. I have so many fun things that I have been planning for this year, for 2023. You guys, it's about to be epic. I'm just so excited. It's going to be amazing. It's absolutely unreal. And honestly, to be quite honest, I feel like I'm on fire right now. Like, things are starting to click. Things are starting to move for me. I just feel like I have so many updates, life updates, but also business updates. It's going to be super fun. So I have just been really in my job. And what that means, I've been like really in delivering to the current Bravehearts inside of the Get Over Your Ex program. I have been thinking about breakups in a completely new way, and we just have a lineup of events that are going to just blow your mind, and I'm really excited to share them. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the annual Braveheart Festival, because that is going to be happening February 11th and 12th. Now, this is going to be a completely free event that is open to everyone. So I really, really hope that you go ahead and you block that off in your calendar today so that you make sure that you have access to it. It's going to be a heart healing experience that will completely change the way you look at yourself within romantic relationships. No more blaming yourself for how your last relationship ended. No more shaming yourself for not showing up as your best self in the past. We're going to talk about letting go of the negative things your ex said about you that are really keeping you from moving forward and ending maybe those old patterns that you're seeing repeat in new relationships. I want you to leave the Braveheart Festival feeling proud of who you are, powerful in your own life, and in control of your romantic relationships from here and on out, right? And you get to be your most authentic self no matter what your ex is doing. So I really want you to come with me to maybe find that version of you if you felt like you've lost it, or draw her out, or amplify her and get her to stick around, her or him, okay? So I am really excited because this is going to be a 2-day event that I have never done before. It's going to be very immersive and hands-on and very workshop-esque. So I'm going to get to know you. We're going to be virtual, but it's going to be a meeting format. So I get to see you, and I'm just like very excited. It's going to be unlike anything I've done before, and I really want you there. It's definitely something you're going to want to attend live. I'm going to be doing giveaways and things like that. So it's going to be fun. Mark it in your calendars. Check that day off, like literally 9 to 4. Make sure you've got it all blocked off on your calendar. We'll have like an hour-long lunch break, but I want you there. So today, I just wanted to stop in real quick and talk about everything's going to be okay, because in my personal life, I've been experiencing a lot right now. I will do an entire bonus episode around what's been going on in my life. Right now is not the correct time for me to share about it. However, I do want to say that this is a message that I feel like needs to be talked about more. I feel like all I've been wanting to hear from people is that everything's going to be okay. Which, speaking of, you know what's really cool about my job is that I have coached so many Bravehearts at this point. And a lot of times the Bravehearts that I coach become like friends, or they stay in contact with me. And what's been a really cool experience is some of my really close Braveheart alumni, they end up like coaching me back, and they're saying the same words that I said to them when they were going through heartbreak. And it's just an unreal experience that I'm like, damn, you did so well in coaching, and like I feel like I trained them to do my job so well that they can come back and do it for me. And I think that that's a really cool and interesting experience. But when I have been going through everything that I've been going through, it's really been an eye-opening thing to me. And I was going through my own program around, and in the beginning of my program, there's this video where I say, welcome, and I'm so excited that you're here. And one of the things that I realized was missing from that video, that welcome video, is just the pure message of everything's going to fucking be okay. You are here, you are held, I'm going to take care of you, and everything is going to be okay. You are going to come out of this on the other side 10 times better. Okay? And what I realized is this is something that cannot be said enough. I want you to hear it from the people around you. I want you to hear it like constantly. I want you to hear it from yourself. Like, Dorothy, everything is going to be okay, and I promise you. And I really just wanted to come out and say this as a message to anyone who's really just craving to hear from someone that everything's going to be okay. I am here to be that person. Everything is going to be okay. It's going to be more than okay. You are going to catapult the rest of your life from this experience, from your breakup and your divorce. I can promise you that only good and better things are going to come from it. And I swear this by my life. I promise you. If it is like the only promise that I can make for you, this is it. I am like down to make sure that this happens for anyone I work with. And I know it can even happen for you. Even if I don't work with you, I want that to be the case. I am done with this idea of it's not going to get worse. It's absolutely not going to get worse. We are only going up from here, and everything is going to be okay. And when I'm going through it, though, when I'm in the thick of it, maybe you resonate with me, I personally just want like a crystal ball and I want to see that it's going to be okay, right? And not just okay, but more than okay. And it really got me thinking about, why do we want this? Why do we want that certainty? Why do we want to be told everything's going to be okay? What makes us think it won't be okay? What is okay? What would be better than okay? And what makes me think that I can't have it? And I went down this rabbit hole of like asking and answering these really specific questions. Why do we worry about it not being okay? It's so broad. But when you're in the thick of heartbreak, it's just like this overwhelming sense that it's not going to be okay, that we won't be okay. And truthfully, we want the person who we thought was closest to us to tell us that it was going to be okay, right? And maybe they were once the closest person, and now they're not, right? But here's the thing. The fascinating part about this idea of it being okay or not okay is, have you noticed that when someone else tells you it's going to be okay, oftentimes it doesn't necessarily feel different. And sometimes we might feel like a slight increase in relief, but sometimes the person we really want to hear it from even says it, like maybe your ex says it, but you don't actually believe it. So we leave the conversation feeling like even worse. And the reason for this is that we don't really believe it internally for ourselves. We haven't built up like the muscle to believe it internally for ourselves. And again, why? What are we using to say that we won't be okay now or in the future? I want you to slow down and ask yourself, what makes me think that everything won't be okay? Truthfully, what will not be okay? Like, get specific, right? I'm not in a relationship with the person I thought I'd spend the rest of my life with. So what? Why is that a problem? Why does that mean everything won't be okay now or in the future? And if it's not going to be okay, what will it be? Because my mind personally gets stuck there. The moment I have to get specific, my brain short circuits. It's like the more vague I am about complaining, the easier my brain runs with it and starts like spiraling. But as soon as I ask my brain to get more specific, it's like, wait, what? You want me to like work at complaining, like work at this hard? Like for real. And now here's the thing. I know some of you won't short circuit. Like you have a laundry list of things that will go on, right? I'll never find someone else as amazing as my ex. I won't have the connection I had with that person. My life is going to be over. But again, specifically, what does my life being over really mean? I'm losing everything. Again, what is it specifically that you're losing? Because my mind liked to be like, I'm losing everything, but like, what have I actually lost? I had a miscarriage, baby Marilyn dropped in and then left. Did I really lose the ability to have her in the future? Like, not yet. That's still like a possibility. But what specifically? Like, get specific with your brain. But I hear things like, I'll never find someone else as amazing as my ex. I won't have the connection I had with that person. No one will love me like they did. I won't be able to stay in my home. I won't be able to have the home that I want. I won't be able to have a family anymore. And to be quite honest, all of this work, we've got to remember, going back to the basics, right? Thoughts create feelings. Feelings fuel action and behaviors, and those behaviors create results. So when we look at that and we think, these are the thoughts that are being said, these are the specific reasons I'm thinking everything's not going to be okay, they're all lies. These are all truthfully optional beliefs that your brain is throwing at you, pretending to be reality. And I promise you, they are straight up lies. Your ex might not be as amazing as you think. Every human has the 50-50 experience. They are having a 50-50 experience. I don't care what they say. I don't care what they do. I don't care how they're acting. They have the 50-50 experience. If they say otherwise, they are straight up lying. And to be quite honest, there are so many amazing human beings on this planet. Your ex is not the only one. Connection. Right? Connection is something you build with your optional beliefs. And again, friends, there are so many single people on this planet that you will have amazing, magnetic, chemistry-filled connections with. There is not just one. And to be quite honest, I mean, there's how many billion people? And you're looking for just one. And most of us are just looking for one. Maybe you're not, and that's fine. And then secondly, when it comes to like these limiting beliefs that we have around our future, around everything not being okay, like here's all the things that are going to go wrong if I'm not with this person, I have now finally concluded that every single thing that could possibly go wrong is figure outable. Like truthfully, is there truly something in this world that we can't figure out a solution to? If you want something, you can have it, and it's only one thought away from you. If you want a specific result, a new job, more money, a home, a car, a partner, it is all simply one thought away, right? Again, thoughts create feelings, which fuel your behavior and your actions, and therefore your result. So if you want a new result, you must start thinking new thoughts. And to be even more specific with it, if you want a new result, you have to start thinking about yourself differently. It's going to start with the thoughts that you have about you. We can think about the thing or we can think about the person, but the really powerful, impactful beliefs that change lives are thought patterns that we build about ourselves that we don't let other people tamper with. It doesn't matter what someone else says about us. If we believe this thought about ourselves and our capability, I want you to think about when it comes to creating these results, maybe that you feel like are not available to you if your ex is not in your life. I want you to think about, what thoughts do I have about myself and my capability to create what I want in my life? And I want you to go to the place of, if I already had this, I actually have a very specific formula for this, and we're going to learn that at the Braveheart Festival, so I highly recommend you come. But if you already had this result, how would you be thinking about yourself? And do you have those same thoughts now? And there's most likely a discrepancy between the two thought patterns. And you've got to start adapting that, and you've got to start believing that about yourself before you see it in your outside reality. Now, I think the really interesting part about this whole topic as well is that a lot of times when we're worried about everything being okay, we're future tripping. We are trying to predict the future. And if we truly have no idea what's going to happen in the future, why do we keep predicting the most ridiculous, outrageous ideas? Why not predict the most fun, epic, gorgeous, delicious, most fabulous future? I mean, it could go either way. We can either worry about it and be disappointed and upset now and then reach an outcome and have feelings, or you could feel excited and empowered and powerful and in control and giddy with anticipation and then see what the outcome is and have feelings. Regardless, you're going to have feelings now and you're going to have feelings again in the future. So we might as well pick fun ones. Now, that all comes back to why spend our time in dread, right? It's like, again, and I know I've said this on the podcast before, but I feel like a lot of times we dread something or we don't want to get our hopes up because we're like, I don't want to get my hopes up because I might feel disappointed in the future. But what you're really saying is, I'm going to feel disappointed now in hopes that I don't feel disappointed later. But if you're going to feel disappointed later, it's going to happen regardless. So you might as well not feel disappointed now, because you also might not feel disappointed in the future. But I think that we get in the habit of questioning whether or not everything is going to be okay after a bad breakup, really anything epic or big, kind of life-altering that happens in our life. But of course, we're here talking about breakups and divorce. It's just like routine and habit versus believing that no matter what, epic, traumatic event takes place in my life, I know deep down in my bones that I'm going to be okay. And I just choose to believe that about myself, regardless of what I keep going through. I mean, I don't want to do the opposite. The opposite feels miserable. And to be quite honest, I don't even want to believe it's just everything's going to be okay. I am on board with it's going to be better than okay. And again, going back to the core story that we talk about throughout this entire podcast, if you are new here, you'll learn that the ultimate thing that's happening within your breakup is that it's all happening for you and not to you. Okay? Always. It's always happening for you and not to you. Now, if your brain likes to chew on this and really wants other people to validate you and that everything is going to be okay. Number one, I don't think you can get enough of it. Ask your friends, ask your family, have them reinforce it with you every damn day. I'm on board to have everyone telling you that everything's going to be okay, and I will be that person for you here today. But what if you took a moment and forced your brain to answer very specific questions about this so that you can see for yourself that truthfully, everything is deep down going to be all right. It's going to be okay. So I want to offer up some of these questions for you. Why do I genuinely think it's not going to be okay? What specifically won't be okay about this breakup or divorce? And once you identify those really specific things, number one, like I said, my brain likes to short circuit on that question. And it can't really come up with a lot because everything it comes up with, I know is an optional belief that my brain is oh, that's funny. That's kind of interesting that we're saying this because I have a lot of evidence to the contrary. Number two, how do I know that's really true? Am I looking at past events in my life that I'm then basing my present and my future on? Am I 110% certain that that is true? We don't know. We don't know what the future holds. So why am I telling myself that something that might not necessarily be true? Another question I like to ponder is, what if I'm wrong? What if it turns out better because of this breakup or divorce? Have I spent enough time contemplating that? Am I giving it equal airtime? Like, what if it's better without this person in my life? What if it's better because I've gone through this experience? Another one is, if I wasn't fixated on what wasn't going to be okay, what would I be fixated on? Like, what's the other chew toy that my brain would pick up? Could I be purposeful about the chew toy? Could we go to the store and buy a chew toy that's like a productive one instead of just, I'm thinking about my dog Tink. She ate the couch. So I'm like, instead of eating the couch, could we buy a chew toy that's like way more intentional? Like, if we're going to sit here and contemplate everything being okay or not okay, what I would rather do is find a way to provide more value to the world. What I would rather do is get to work figuring out how to change my career. Not me personally, but you, right? What else would you rather be spending your beautiful mental energy and effort and time fixated on? And give your brain that chew toy to work on that problem. Another one is, if everything wasn't okay, then what? Because, and this kind of goes to like, so what? What's the actual problem here? Why is that a problem? And is there anything I can do about it then? Like, is there anything I can do about it now if that's what I'm predicting to go wrong or not be okay? And then lastly, you can literally just flip it. If everything was okay, then what? What would I be spending my time doing? What would I be spending my time thinking about? If I knew for certain, without a doubt, everything was going to be okay, honestly, your brain might think that that's boring. After all of the drama that we've been in when it comes to a breakup or a divorce, your brain's like, oh, if everything's okay, like, what do we worry about? What do we do? And again, that goes back to giving your brain an intentional problem to solve or an intentional chew toy to chew on. Or maybe just like give it a vacation. Be like, brain, go get on a float, sit in a lazy river, have a cocktail, and like, just let's chill. Let's be a little bit zen right now. But here's the thing. At the end of the day, Braveheart, here's what I have to say. Everything's going to be okay. I promise you. And I honestly believe that everything is actually going to be better for you because of this experience. And as hard as it is to maybe hear that right now, I'm going to believe in it for you while maybe you're still learning to believe that, because you get to be the deciding factor. This doesn't have to be the end of you. This just has to be the beginning, right? You're just getting started. We're just getting warmed up. And I don't care how old you are. I don't care about your age. You are just getting warmed up. And if this was you just getting warmed up, like, especially if you're like, oh my gosh, my relationship was so amazing. It was all this awesomeness, all the things. That was just like the precursor to the main course, the appetizer to the main course. You're just getting warmed up, and that's amazing. I actually have a really funny story I will just quickly run through about it's just the beginning. So I'm house shopping right now, and I recently had a man tell me, Dorothy, don't buy your dream home right now. This is your first home. You don't have to buy your dream home right now. You can get a starter home that you can like turn into an investment and turn it into a rental. And like, trust me, I really get what he's saying. Like, I completely understand that concept. I think there's so much, importance in that. And I also feel like I can see that. I can get on board with that. I totally understand that. But there's multiple things I also just thought of as he was talking to me about this is, number one, why not? Just because my first house, I'm buying my first house for the first time, why wouldn't I buy my dream home? Is there ever a time to really not go for what you authentically desire in the world? Like, and again, I don't have an answer to this. It's just a question that I'm contemplating of like, when wouldn't you do that? And number two, the home, which this is the interesting part, the home that he thinks is my dream home isn't actually my dream home. It might be like my most ideal home for right now and like my dream home for right now. But I also see something way more grand in my mind as my dream home. So I just thought that that was interesting too, of like, oh my gosh, maybe we have different levels of dreams, and how fun is it to contemplate that? And throughout that process, all of a sudden, I realized that even though I've come as far as I have in so many avenues of life, I am so far from the finish line. Like, even for me, I started to realize that in 2023, I have literally just barely scratched the surface. I have just gotten started, and this is just the beginning for me. And I'm sorry, but like, how freaking refreshing is that? How invigorating is that? How exciting does that feel? So it doesn't matter where you are in your lifetime. I really want you to contemplate, what if this is you just getting started, like just getting warmed up? I am so obsessed. So Braveheart, I am really here today to just tell you one thing. It's all going to be okay. It's going to be better than okay. And I can promise you, if you are wanting to explore all of that for yourself a bit more, just ask your brain to get more specific with you and see what is actually factual versus your optional beliefs, and who you'd be if you explored how might things be even better than simply okay. All right, Bravehearts, I love you so much. I hope you have an amazing week, and I will talk to you next time. If you're loving the How to Get Over Your Ex podcast and you want to learn how to get over your ex in 3 months or less to build a life better than the one you thought you had with your ex, I would like to personally invite you to my next group course, where we take everything you've learned here on the podcast and apply it to your life. Come check it out at www.lifecoachdorothy.com.